This is the BGG Climbers for the week ending 10/19/2022. This list is put together every week by Michael Alexander. I'll include links in the description below if you want to take a look at the list. We did miss last week because the list came out a little bit late, and then usually with that, I'll just skip the week, catch up the next week. Given that, there's actually a lot of new and interesting stuff on here. I think because this is the second week post Essen, we're going to see a lot of the new games from Essen start to show up on this list. People that were able to attend, either play them or purchase the games there. So let's take a look. We'll start with number 10, Sabika. So I think until this week, I haven't even heard of this game. Take a look at it. So it's a pretty heavy game. German P. Millen. You recognize that? Bitoku. So same person that did Bitoku, which got, I think, okay reviews. I mean, it's the artwork on it, I think, was really good. I think the gameplay maybe not as solid as the artwork, but it was still probably one of the better heavy games from that. Looks interesting. I'm not like I like the Bitoku artwork better. Spain, Mediterranean, L, and event. So let's see what the comments say. Mandel feels very smooth. Best game out of SN. And the person liked Bitoku. I think it's an interesting game. It's too hard to predict whether this is going to do well or not. But I guess if you like heavier games, it seems to be one of the heavier games that have gotten positive reviews out of S. Number 10, Sabika. Number 9, The Great Spirit. So this one isn't starting off a little bit low. Let's see. I haven't heard of this one either. Or The Great Split. Great Spirit. Can't read tonight. Build a collection of riches by trading cards with I Split. You choose. Okay. So it's the Great Split, but it's essentially the I Split you choose. So you always have this like tension where you want to split it just the right place so that you get the part that you have to make it less appealing for other people. Your part, but not giving them too much, I guess. This mechanism works pretty well. I mean, it's been used on a number of games. Close draft, I cut, you choose. I like the artwork. I like these boards. They look kind of reminds me of like those like puzzle games on your phone that were big a few years ago. I can't remember. Yeah, it looks interesting. Probably not going to be in the top 100, but we'll see. I mean, it is a lighter weight game with a single mechanism type thing, but I would potentially be interested in up or maybe playing it if this is the great split. Number 8 is ISS Vanguard. So this one is doing exceedingly well. Maybe not quite as good as Oathsworn, but it's up in that same range. Although it only has 739 ratings. I think Europe's gotten its delivery already. My delivery, I'm hoping, will be shipped soon. I think it's arrived at the port, but it hasn't shipped out yet, to my knowledge. It does seem like a lot of the shipping backlog is finally for these games is finally happening late this year because I've gotten Mosaic, ISS Vanguard, and maybe two other Kickstarters that are probably going to be delivered very soon. I got Chronicles of Drunigor and one other one that all got delivered. John Company. So all these have gotten delivered within like a span of like a couple months, and these were ordered in wildly different times. Maybe even some of them a year apart. Anyway, ISS Vanguard. I do think this is probably a top 100 game. I think it's from Awakened Realms. It was a huge Kickstarter hit, so there's gonna be a bunch of copies out there, and I just don't see this staying out of the top 100, especially breaking out with the constant above 9 rate. We'll have to see if it does better than like top 100 realm, but we won't know that till we get into 2000. Number 8, ISS Vanguard. Number 7, Mosaic: A Story of Civilization. This had some controversy because the retail edition arrived actually before the Kickstarter copies, which I knew that was a risk given I think the history. I think Forbidden Games has had some like very close calls with that in the past. So I knew getting this game, it might not arrive before the retail version. Typically I went back in on Kickstarter, but we have a board game place here that does Kickstarter backing kind of through them, and they get the retail rate and then you get a little bit of a discount off Kickstarter, and I decided to do it through that. And also it reduces some of the shipping. So Mosaic is a kind of faster civilization game. So this is supposed to play in 90 to 120 minutes. I just got the box last week. It is a big box for the Colossal Edition. And it's extremely heavy. Like I was surprised when it was like maybe 20 pounds, maybe 15 to 20 pounds. I don't know exactly, but it is a really, really heavy box. And I think that's because it's got so much stuff in it. So it's got this. This is the Colossal Edition. It's got miniatures for everything. It's got these huge boards. It's got I think metal coins in the box. All the different. It's got chunky tokens for everything. Metal coins. So it looks like a very well produced game. Some people have painted it. Obviously, better. I probably won't be painting it. I'm not a artist. I do have painted some miniatures, and they've turned out okay, but it's not in the level where I guess I'm not into it enough where I do it often. As far as where this thing's going to land, so this was a pretty big game from Glenn Drover. He's done games such as Raccoon Tycoon, Sid Meier's Civilization, the board game, Railways of the World, and Age of Empires 3. All these were very well received games. I think Raccoon Tycoon was his most recent well received game. His other one, Lizard Wizard, didn't do as well. And the reviews for this game, I think, are not as strong as I guess as I expected when I backed it. So we'll have to see. Um so I guess this guy's saying it's more of a 4-hour game. I mean, it's a civilization game. It could take 4 hours. Let's see some of these. So people like it. I don't think it's again. I don't think the ratings on here are quite as strong as I was expecting. Um, the I haven't watched any reviews for it. I think it wasn't quite as strong there as I expected. So I'm not sure this will end up in the top 100 yet, especially given that it's kind of been landing in the upper sevens and lower eights, which is a little bit low for a Kickstarter game. Now, part of this could be since retail hit first. There's going to be some upset people about the retail hitting first, and there's also going to be retail purchases that have been made, which tend to be a little bit lower ratings than Kickstarter back. We'll have to give it some time and see how this lands. I'm looking forward to playing it, although it's probably a ways out on my list. I still have a huge backlog of. Number 7, Mosaic: A Story of Civilization. Number 6, John Company Second Edition. So this is a game I'm definitely playing at BGGCon. Already got a game signed up for it, and I am going to post an unboxing. I already did. So if you want to take a look at it, you can. This is the second edition of John Company, which was a pretty well received heavy game that is kind of a negotiation mashup of a bunch of other mechanisms. extremely heavy. 4.31. This is, in terms of complexity, this is up there with the heaviest Lacerda games and many. It has bribery, dice rolling, push your luck, simulation, voting. It has negotiation. It's got uh, economic, and it's got historical themes around it. And the game itself takes place as you're running a family competing in the uh, East India Company, I believe, in India for reputation. Uh, the cards themselves the artwork looks really good. The game pieces that I got look really good, although they don't really quite fit in the box the way I like. Even though the box is bigger than some of his other games, I feel like it could have been just a little bit bigger. Um, and I can't really comment on the gameplay because I haven't even learned the game yet. I have to learn it in 3 weeks for BGGCon. But I am. This is probably one of my most anticipated games to try playing. I've heard you have to play it a number of times before you can even come up with a reasonable strategy, and that's kind of expected given the heaviness of it. Where do I expect this to land? So it's a huge deal for this reprint because it was basically impossible to get hold of for a long time without paying a large sum, and it's got a huge number of people waiting for it. Although I don't think this has the, it's not like Root where everyone's gonna be able to pick this up and play it. So that is probably going to keep it out of the top 100, but I think it's going to do very well and probably be in the top two. Number 6, John Company, second edition. Number 5, Lacrimosa. So this is I believe, a 2-player game. Yeah. Best at 2, but I guess it does 1 through 4. You complete the Requiem, which is Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart's last. Pretty heavy game. This one I think did pretty well at Essen, or maybe it was a pre-Essen release. The game itself, I think, looks pretty good. The artwork looks good. Got this kind of painting style going with it. Um, Other than that, I haven't watched any reviews or anything, so I don't know anything. Uh, it is hovering around low eights, which is decent. I think we'll have to see how it does over time and how the reviews are and how many. Number 5, Lacrimosa. Number 4, Tribes of the Wind. So I saw this on the hotness. Um, so use the back of your opponent's cards to play your actions. Got Vincent Dutray, whose artwork is very obvious, and we're grid coverage and tile placement. Yeah, I mean, and it's, I guess, got some civilization themes, but it's probably just standard Euro. Looks kind of, the artwork itself looks okay. I mean, I'm not a huge, I'm not the biggest fan of Vincent Dutray's artwork for board games. Like, I feel like I'm more of an Ian O'Toole guy, but I think his board games look good. It's just they aren't always, I feel like the icons aren't as clear as I like them. Now this is a lighter weight, medium weight game, so probably not as important. As far as how this is going to do, I mean, it's hard to predict right now, but starting off in the upper sevens, probably not a top 100 game, but we'll see if we see it in some future weeks and see how it does. Number 4, Tribes of the Wind. Number 3, Revive. So this is a game that I think came out at Essen, done by a number of designers. And yeah, it's been on the hotness. So I did look at this. You're trying to revive civilization 5,000 years after everything is. And so that's kind of a unique post-apocalyptic civilization game. It's supposed to play in 90 to 120 minutes, which seems to be the key civilization time frame that everyone wants to hit. The game itself got, I guess when I was looking at it, I didn't dig into it too much, but it's got these 2 boards and one is like, I don't know, almost looks like a maze, and the other one is like standard civil. And I'm wondering how these fit together. Like I said, I haven't read any rules. It's also got these boards that look kind of like, I don't know, kind of like a scythe or a Terra Mystica board. Uh, maybe that's your civilization, what in a scythe style. As far as the comments here, so let's just see here. Yeah, Terra Mystica is my favorite game. Feels kind of like Terra Mystica with a combo chaining engine. Self-explanatory actions, nice flow of the game, awesome combos. Box size is okay. Someone's not happy about a missing punch board. That's really unfortunate. I mean, it happens. The company should be able to provide you with a new one, especially if you bought it at Esso. That'd be the biggest. This game looks good. I don't know if it's this kind of holy grail of civilization game. I kind of thought Mosaic was going to be that way. Maybe that one's not it. This 2-hour civilization game that fulfills all the normal civilization. I guess we'll see how this one does. It does seem like maybe a little bit lighter weight version. Some Terra Mystic mechanisms and some combo building based on the reviews. Maybe this is gonna be the lighter Terra Mystica or the Terra. I forget what it is. The new lighter Terra Mystica version. Hard to say which one's gonna be a better game. This is a revive. I think we'll see this in the coming weeks, and we'll see how it's gonna land. Maybe Number 2, Heat Pedal to the Metal. This is a racing game from Days of Wonder. So I actually don't remember the last time I saw a Days of Wonder game. It's been a while. So this must be this year's release. They've got actual like little cars. And it looks like a smaller box than some of the recent. So this doesn't, I don't know. Looking at this doesn't feel like a Days of Wonder production. Like I always think of Days of Wonder as like really good production quality. And maybe, maybe my expectations are higher now that I've seen these like way over the top production uh produced board games. But it just doesn't seem like as good of a production quality as I would have expected. Um it's a very light medium game. It's hand management with a racing type thing. Now I've played Downforce, I've played some other racing games. That Downforce was good, but felt like I didn't want to keep playing it more than like 3 or 4 times. As far as this game, I just don't think it's probably going to be in the top 100. It's starting off a little bit weak. To me, it doesn't look like your typical Days of Wonder production, and it seems like it's going to be lighter than most people in BGG. Number 2, Heat Pedal to the Metal. Number 1, Woodcraft. So this is kind of a surprise that this is the number 1 on the list. This is a game by Vladimir Suki and Ross Arnold. I don't know who Ross Arnold is. Yes, this is his first game. Yep. So, uh, Vladimir Suki, my favorite game of his is Pulsar 2849. I think that's the right Pulsar. Um, I like some of his other games, but I feel like that is my favorite. I think it's got the best uh, mechanism. This game, I think the artwork looks okay. I think it actually looks better than a lot of. I guess is it done by CG? No, it's done by Delicious. He did Underwater Cities, which is Vladimir Suki as well. Um, I didn't like that as much as Pulsar. Guess you know where my tastes lie. Production looks good. I think it's in the range of Underwater Cities production. It seems. Um, so players complete their projects with wood dice that can be cut down to size, glued back together, and adjusted using dice manipulation Be as efficient as possible. Contracts, dice rolling, in-game modes, solo solitaire, and it's a pretty heavy game. So I feel like this is a game to definitely watch and see how it does. It's also 48.99 at Ninja Market is not bad. I don't much better than Masana. Excellent game, typical modern multi, for solitaire Euro. That's kind of most of my games are tend to be that way. Gameplay disappointing. So I guess it's kind of mixed ratings on here. A lot of eights. So I guess we'll have to see how the reviews are and how the uptake is. Game looks really good. Uh, kind of like the the fact they have a person carving the dice on the cover, which is kind of funny. Um, and we'll have to see if this is the big game out of Essen. I don't know if I saw it. I didn't do an Essen video this year or last year. I don't even know. Did Essen? I don't even remember if Essen. I haven't done an Essen video in a while. I wanted to do one this year. I just didn't have time, but I'm hoping next year I'll do like an upcoming Essen video in terms of the best games. Part of the reason I didn't do it this year is when I looked through them, I didn't see huge. I didn't see a lot of games that really said, "Okay, this is the Essen release to me." I'd be. Um, I think maybe next year, once we're kind of a little bit more out of this whole pandemic, things will be back to normal Essen catalog, a normal size BGG con, and all that. So that is the number one game for this week. If you enjoyed this video, please like and please subscribe. Please take a look at our other videos.